This module is all about the goto statement. This is probably the only module in the entire course where I'm going to show you something and then tell you never to use it. Okay, first I'll show you what a piece of goto code looks like. It looks like this. We first have a bunch of regular C statements. Then we have a goto statement that says go to somewhere, go to a certain label, go to a word. You have to. It's almost like a variable, the word label. You get to invent it. You can say go to bottom, or go to end, or go to middle, or anything like that. You can go to anywhere you like. You invent the label. Then there's a bunch more statements. Then there's the actual label that you invented with a colon after it. So where I've got label here, it might say middle colon. And then there's some more statements. So what happens is the program flows like this. You execute the first bunch of statements. Then you reach the label. Then it immediately skips the second bunch of statements and goes straight to the label. Thus the word go to. It goes to the label. And then it continues on and executes the third set of statements. So the second set of statements never gets executed. Okay, let's have a look at an example of that, and then I'll try and explain to you why I recommend this is never used. Let's go back to our age.c from the previous module. Okay, here we are, and this one is saved as goto.c. It's exactly the same program as we had before. I only chose it because there's quite a lot of lines of code in it, as you can see. It's quite lengthy, and I'm about to put some gotos in. Immediately here I'm going to say, right here, I'm going to say go to what? Go to other. Okay. In fact, I won't put it there. I'll cut it from there and I'll paste it in there. So if the age is not a teenager, then we go to other. So we have to now declare an other somewhere. We'll declare it here. How about this? We'll say that this is where our label is going to be. You typically put your labels right over in the margin, just to show that they're not actual lines of code, they're actual places that you can jump to. So if that condition ever becomes true, then we'll go to the other and we'll jump down to here and continue on. And then down here I'm going to say simply go to up. Okay, go to up. Now where will up be? I'm going to go up, and up will be, how about here? Up. Okay, so I've now put two go-to statements. One that takes you down, go to other, and other is down here. And one is go to up, and up is up here. Okay, let's try and examine the program flow. We come in the top. Here's the main. We come into the program and we get to this line, this if. And if that evaluates to true, then we go to other, which means that we skip immediately down the page until we get to here. And then we continue on. We go there, and we go there, we go there, and then we say go to up. Oh, okay, so we go right back up to here, and then we continue on down. Blah, 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 blah. We get to this line of code again, but it doesn't affect anything because it's just a label. And we continue on. Oh, goodness, we get to go to up again, and go to up, and so on. So maybe I'd better put that in an if statement. If age is greater than 10, go to up. Now if I didn't do that, we'd have a program that would never end. Whoops, try and put the right brackets there. We'd have a program that would never end because it would go round and round and round. It would keep getting this line, go to up. It would go to up here, and then it would just go round and round and round. Now, even given that the fact that if age is now less than 10, the program will actually end. If age is greater than 10, it will never end, because the only time they actually enter the age is up here. So if they enter an age that's, say, 50, then the program will never end. So it's still not a very good solution, but it is sort of a solution. Even given that sometimes it's actually going to successfully complete, it's extremely messy. You're probably already confused trying to follow where the program goes, up and down and around and around. If you're confused, good. You're supposed to be, because that's what gotos are. They're extremely confusing. I don't like using them. In fact, I don't know a programmer that likes using them because they are so confusing. They give you what is known as, and this is not my word, this is a general industry standard word, spaghetti code. Spaghetti meaning, think of a bowl of spaghetti. You've got strands going here, and you've got strands going there, you've got up and down and around and looping and all sorts of stuff, and there's no obvious flow. There's no obvious top to bottom sequential blah blah walk down, boom 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 boom, if then do that, and so on. It takes you all over the place, and thus we don't like them. It makes code extremely unreadable. It makes bugs extremely difficult to find. There's probably lines of code that never get executed at all. It's just not good. So I'm going to try and make a rule. Don't use them. Don't use that part of the language. Now, having said that, I use gotos myself under very, very restricted circumstances. There's times where I can get myself into a piece of code that, well, for whatever reason, I'm not going to explain it now, the only way to progress the code logically is to use a goto. Now, I don't like them, and it's probably a sad assessment of my code that I actually need a goto at that point in the first place. The code could possibly have been rewritten such that I didn't need the goto. However, I've evaluated it carefully myself, and I've thought to myself, in this particular instance, and in only this instance, I'm going to do a very, very simple jump. I'm not going to jump up, I'm only going to jump down, and it usually works. Well, no, I'll rephrase that. If I'm careful enough, it always works, and it's also not confusing. However, I still don't like doing it, and I feel very guilty when I put the goto there. But if you want to use gotos, then please feel free, but please give them their due consideration and care, because they can make your program extremely messy. And messy is not good in the programming world. Anyway, enough said. That is